On this episode of Just Informed Talk, the latest new Q posts tell us the incredible story of what's happening behind the scenes and what a specific tweet from Hillary Clinton means in the context of targeting over 200 different Twitter personalities who are pro-MAGA and pro-Trump. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. I always start by saying thank you to everybody who's hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, please come here to the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications, and make sure you hit the like button if you guys like the content that's being made here. So, today we're going to pick up right where we left off. Of course, the last post we covered here on the channel was Q post 2875, and we're going to pick up here at Q post 2876. And I always tell everyone, if you haven't and you're not caught up, you can come back here, watch these last few videos, because the algorithms are being gamed and the videos are not being suggested. You're not going to be shown this unless you come find it here on the channel and you want to get caught up on the Q latest Q posts. So I always encourage everyone to come here and check it out, spread it on your social media. And if you don't know what Q is and you're scratching your head going, what is this guy talking about? Watch this video right here. It'll tell you everything you need to know about Q and the Great Awakening. So today we have an incredible story that Q is going to lay out for us. And it all has to do with this tweet from Hillary Clinton. So this tweet was just put out a few days ago by Hillary Clinton, where she basically says that, or she mentions this article, this Politico article, which has reported that a wide-ranging disinformation campaign aimed at Democratic 2020 candidates is already underway on social media, with signs that foreign state actors are driving at least some of the activity. So what is this? This is their new attempt to paint everyone who is pro-MAGA and everyone who is following QAnon on all the different social media platforms as foreign disinformation, right? Because you can't have anything be fair when it comes to Democrats, because if you level the playing field and make it fair, they'll lose. So what do? They go to their big tech company sponsors, their corporate globalist cohorts, and they have them game the system against you. And that's exactly what this article talks about. And Q is pointing this out as being a direct attack against individuals who are on Twitter who have been named through a link that was posted in this article, and they are the ones who are going to be targeted. So this is 1984 coming to life, ladies and gentlemen. These evil Democrat lowlifes, including Hillary and the rest, are coming after the freedom of speech that we all take, we hold so dearly to what is being an American, right? They're coming after us. They're calling us foreign disinformation bots, and they're going to claim that if we disagree with the narrative that they put forward, then we are obviously the enemy. And that, in my humble opinion, is the start of an incredible injustice that's going to occur when they come after every single person who does not toe the line, who does not share the same ideas, who does not share the same ideologies. They're going to come after you, and they're going to silence you, and they're going to throw you in the memory hole. And they're starting right here with this article and this post from Hillary Clinton. And I even tweeted out here basically an homage to Martin Nomiel. I can't even say the name, Martin Nomeller, his poem, First They Came. And I actually did a little bit of my own take on it, given what we're going through. And it says, first they came for the conservatives, and I did not speak out because I wasn't a conservative. Then they came for the social media influencers, and I did not speak out because I wasn't a social media influencer. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out. And let that sink in, because that is exactly what we're up against here. It's the start of the fascism that is coming from the left, where they want to control speech. They want to control what you think and what you say. They don't want you to have the freedom to think outside of what they give you as the narrative, the official narrative, according to them. Okay? And that's what we're really up against. And that's what Q, I think, wants us to look at first. And Q has something to say about this, saying, for those who think this war is fake or we are not considered a major threat, this is a direct attack by Hillary Clinton on Q and pro-POTUS patriots. The article referenced has an embedded link that literally targets pro-POTUS Q Twitter accounts that have been identified by Clintons and the deep state as serious threats, ability to shift the narrative. Twitter has already begun to remove targeted accounts in stages under false pretenses. The war is real. The threat is real. Clinton panic, Clinton fear, Judgment Day coming, Q. So what are we talking about here on Q? We're talking about things that are verifiable facts. You can go read the Office of Inspector General's report where the Inspector Coleman, one of the investigators, makes a note after serving a federal search warrant and seizing the iPhone, iPad, and laptop of Anthony Weiner. He makes a note about emails from the Clinton Foundation being on the laptop and evidence of crime against children. So do you think that they're scared? Do you think that there's a reason why this targeting is happening? And do you not think that it's reasonable to speculate that there is this list that's been put out of people who are going to be basically thrown into the memory hole by big tech at the behest of the Clinton machine, along with the deep state, the former gatekeepers trying to keep their stranglehold over information? That's what we're up against. This is exactly what's happening. We should all be very, very worried about what's happening here, right? Again, there was some spelling errors and all that stuff. That's not really as important. Q just says disregard any spelling errors or other errors and that he's on the move. And then again, responding to that same post, Q puts this link. Now, this link in particular is the one that we're talking about. This is the one that is in this report right here, where it talks about the this part right here. It says this is the same core group of accounts the company first identified last year in a study as anchoring a wide-scale influence of the campaign in the 2018 election. Now, think about that. Who's making this research? Well, apparently it's this website right here. And this website right here has all of these people listed. These are all 200 of the accounts. And actually you can see that the orange X's are people who have already been successfully removed from Twitter, the platform. You can click on any one of these accounts. I mean, really. I'll give you an example. You just click on one random account. This person's got 12,000 followers. Okay, and she's been deemed a threat. All right. So again, then you can go up here. Again, pick any random account and you will find that it is, here's one with President Trump's picture. This person has 63,000 followers. They're being targeted. Obviously this person's a Russian agent, right? Because you have so much proof that these are foreign influenced accounts. Where's the proof? I don't see any proof. You can keep clicking randomly on any of these accounts, especially the ones with President Trump's picture. You know, they have 12,000 followers, but that's not even it. A lot of these accounts have hundreds of thousands of followers. For instance, I'm just trying to pick random ones here. I don't want to be, here's one. This person has 102,000 followers, right? And they even tweet out, you know, if there comes a time you can't find me on this platform, here's where I'll be, because of the Q post that just came out where she was named by this article as being somebody who's being targeted. And it's not just her. There are so many more. You can just keep clicking on random accounts, and these are the people who have been targeted. I'm kind of, I just looking at this, I'm very, very disturbed. And now here you go. People are just disappearing. Here's one that has been updated. That person's been obviously pulled. Account suspended here. You can click on a lot of these people, and that comes up too. They are either missing or their account's been suspended or whatever. This person's got 444,000 subscribers, right? So you guys can see here that this article is basically naming these individual Twitter accounts who they deem to be the influencers who can influence campaigns and elections, and they're the ones that are being targeted. Can you believe this, right? A lot of these, and again, these people are being removed from Twitter. Do you see this? And they're not even updating this list. These people are actually being removed. It should terrify everyone out there that this is what is happening and that this is what we're up against. But anyway, this article goes on to explain how all 200 of these people influence Twitter and they influence what happens, and they're all part of some foreign conspiracy nonsense, just complete nonsense. So of course it goes on. Q says link embedded in article. This is the link that is embedded that Q's referring to, and it says Crooked Hillary with the metaphorical kill box here with 3 brackets, which having done a little research on the 3 bracket thing, I think it might be a reference to the plus, 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 and plus, 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 which was a reference to the Soros, the Rothschild, and the House of Saud. The House of Saud being the Saudi royal family. That's the 3 mark. So Hillary in Wonderland, or Alice in Wonderland, was Hillary with the Saudi royal family. What deals were being made there? What was she involved with Prince Al-Walid bin Talal and his involvement in our government as far as being an active player? Like, for instance, don't forget that Prince Al-Walid bin Talal was a heavy stockholder, probably still is, in Twitter, right? Where is that influence going and coming from? That's what you have to ask yourself. They want to control the narrative. They want to control what you think. They're coming after your ability to be free and have freedom of speech. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, I hate to be so blunt, but that's how else am I supposed to interpret this information? If anybody has an alternate interpretation that makes any sense, please share it. If you don't, then this is pretty much where we're at. Now, the next one here is this tweet from the AFP news agency, which talks about hashtag breaking. The internet infrastructure is under attack. The agency that oversees the online address book warns. So we're getting this literal story about the internet being under attack, and Q wants to elaborate on this post because it's an Anon who posts this here. And of course, the Anon says evil trying to prevent hashtag truth from spreading, and Q gives us a link to this. Now, what is this? This is ICANN, which is the, let's see, it's here. It's the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. And that is basically this nonprofit organization who has been given the power to basically run the internet with its IP protocols from its agency that's outside of the government. And this was a part of an official order from Obama right before he left that said that basically all of this was going to be turned over by September 2019 to this ICANN organization, where the government is not going to have any more oversight with the way that IP names are assigned and numbers are given for IP addresses, which as of now, it should be and still is, I believe, that the internet is controlled through the actual government overseeing, what websites get put up and all that stuff. And there's an article we're going to look at that explains exactly why that's bad. And Q says tools of prevention online, right? So there are tools of prevention online, obviously to keep the internet from being broken down. But at the same time, this one has been co-opted and implanted by the Obama administration through an executive order, I believe, that stipulated that the internet be turned over to this nonprofit organization who knows what they would do. So, of course, the next one here, it says public service announcement, targeted, directed purge, and it gives these links, which are the 3 stories we said. It's the Hillary tweet, it's the Politico article here, right? And then it's also the this story that we looked at with all the 200 addresses named, right? These are the 200 Twitter accounts that have been deemed a threat to Hillary Clinton and the Democrats, so they have to be removed. They have to be ostracized. First, they have to be called foreign assets. Then they have to be removed. That's the stages that Q's talking about. First, you portray your enemy or as somebody that they're not, and then you use that to go after them, right? That false narrative to go after them. And Q actually lists each one of these targeted accounts. So if you see your account here, which a lot of you may watch this channel and see your account here, all I can say is that Q has said that we're fighting for you, but some notable ones are like In the Matrix here, among others. There's a bunch, right, of people who are pretty well known on Twitter with sometimes hundreds of thousands of followers who are being targeted by this push from the Clinton camp with the DNC or the Democrats. And you can see this is the first part of the list, and I guess there's 200 people, so there's 200 names, and Q gives the list again here of more people. This is part 2, and Q's got a message saying, Patriots, you have been selected as threats and falsely labeled as foreign disinfo agents. Though they attempt to disguise at the bottom as not all, this is an attempt to target and remove by false pretense all threatening voices, elimination of free speech to prevent loss of control. These actions are now being monitored and would strongly encourage forwarding this information to the appropriate members of Congress, Senate, and the media. We believe this is a test run to effectively silence the opposition while testing the potential media backlash and or official response. This attempt to remove silence fascism, those who oppose their view narrative should further demonstrate their resolve to control the message narrative and win at any cost. Q. I want you to understand that, like, just take a second and think of the gravity of what's being told to us here by Q, presumably military intelligence working with the president. That's what we've established up till now. We're getting information from them saying that these big tech companies have taken it upon themselves at the behest of the Clintons and the Democrats to go after and target these 200 accounts to start. And this is a test run. They're going to try to silence us all. They will remove us all. They will make up reasons to remove us all. They will make up reasons to remove our ability to compete in the fair market. They'll make up reasons to ban us from all platforms. They'll make up anything they can. They'll call us foreign agents because we're patriots who love our country. We want the best for our country. We're fighting every day to expose the truth that they can't let get out. And by design, they are coming after us right now. It is the elimination of free speech to prevent loss of control of the narrative. And the White House and military intelligence, for all you watching out there who are disbelievers, are watching this situation very closely. And all you out there in big tech who think this is all part of, your social justice movement to go out and silence people's voices as a part of your greater good ideas, you are delusional. If you think that they're going to stop once they silence us, you are delusional. They're going to come after you next. And you have literally set up a system where people's voices and freedoms can be eliminated at the snap of a finger. And you're endorsing it. And you're not doing anything to stop it. And if anything, you're bolstering it. And the problem is, like I've just said, if you think they're going to stop with us, you are so sadly mistaken. You're next on the list. All you Democrats who are in favor of this, the Ed Krasensteins of the world, you guys are the ones next on the chopping block. First it's us, then it'll be you, and then it'll be anyone who says anything that doesn't go 100% with the narrative that is being presented to you by the media. And I hate to be so hyperbolic, I guess, but consider what is happening here. Consider the message we're getting. And think about where we're at. That's where I'll leave that. Next one, Anon basically posts responding to Q and this post here saying they're scared and desperate. And Q pulls up this old Q post from February of 2019 on Valentine's Day, where it says, more importantly, why is the Washington Post leading the attack versus Q? Who owns the Washington Post? Jeff Bezos. Who funds Amazon? CIA. Who targeted NSA regarding surveillance, expose, prevent Uranium One Iran? The CIA. What did they do? They trained Edward Snowden to have him infiltrate the CIA to take all of their surveillance technology and basically make it useless by stealing it and exposing it to our enemies and allowing people to create ways to circumvent that surveillance. That's what's been alleged. That's the theory that's out there, that Edward Snowden, not quite the American hero you thought he was. He was actually trained by the CIA to undermine and sabotage the NSA so that the CIA, with the Obama administration, could go out and do their whole Uranium One deal and set up this Iran deal and funnel billions of dollars out of our government and into slush funds and into other private entities that would end up using it to either contribute to campaigns or to continue working on their nefarious activities. It says, why are we attacked daily by the largest news companies in the world? I wonder why. Because they're corporate entities who have a corporate narrative that has to be enacted. You are not allowed to speak the truth. You're only allowed to follow the script that is written for you by people who make a lot more money than you, even the anchors on those shows. Okay? Unfortunately. It says, use caution, high follower count targeting to direct deep in narrative mob as method to remove. So Q was telling us this was coming, and now it's happening here on Twitter. Q says, coincidence, days after this post, we have everything, Q. They know what's going on, guys. I don't know how else I can, feel like I want to get on top of a mountain and scream this out, because it's so blatantly criminal and discriminatory and anti-American, but they think it's okay. They justify it because in their mind, they're doing some social justice and they're doing some greater good, and they're promoting virtue and morality, when in reality they destroy everything that's moral to get this utopian morality that they are looking for, right? I don't know. It's crazy. I can't even follow some of this stuff anymore, because it's just, anyway. The next post, Q gives us this. It's a PowerPoint. I'll put it in the link in the description. It talks about understanding internet structure. It talks about a brief history. And I guess we can read through this fairly quickly, because I think everybody needs to know kind of what the brief history of internet infrastructure is in order to understand some of the things that we're talking about here. It says, U.S. Department of Defense wanted to connect some research centers together to enable them to share expensive computer time on mainframes. Government thereafter established ARPANET, an acronym for Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. ARPANET was the first internet, for those of you who don't know. It says the network connected only 4 computers located at the University of California in Los Angeles, University of Stanford, University of California at Santa Barbara, and University of Utah. So the connections were made via local area network, paging network, and satellite network, all using packet switch. By 1973, to ensure an open system, Internet Protocol was developed to enable different LANs to work together. Different LANs were interconnected using gateways, now called router. Internet infrastructure can be said to consist of 3 major components: an IP address or domain name system, servers with Internet Protocol, and switches and transmission links, which are the networks. All these are interconnected to produce a complex interconnection of computers, devices, and subnetworks. So the network starts with a data terminal equipment whose function is to convert any information to electrical signal and to arrange these signal in the form of packets arranged in accordance with rules established by Internet Protocol or IP protocol. And it says, similar to letters enclosed in envelopes with stamps attached and dropped in the post office. And then it talks about network addressing. It says each computer or device connected to the internet has a unique address which distinguishes it from every other computer or device. No 2 devices have the same address. The IP version 4, which is the one we're running now, has a 32-bit address field giving approximately 4.3 billion unique addresses. Now, the world will soon run out of IP addresses when we begin to have widespread adoption of 4G or 5G services and the network of things and devices, sensors embedded in microchips. Virtually anything can in the future be assigned an IP address and connected to the internet space. So now they've developed this IP version 6, which has been developed to address this future explosion of the internet, and it uses a 128-bit address space, which will provide 340 billion unique addresses. So that solves that problem, and then it gives you a little flow chart of how all that works. So that's just a little info on the internet and the history and what it basically is and how this all interconnects. So maybe that clears something up for you. I don't know. But then the next part, that's the info, Q says. The next part says remove control from government and provide to California. Who controls California? Of course, it gives this Forbes article, which talks about back from 2016, of course, September of 2016, before Obama left office. It says 7 days before Obama gives away internet and national security. And it talks about, this whole article basically talks about how President Obama will allow what remains of the United States control of the internet to pass to a California nonprofit organization, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. This is a reckless and dangerous decision that has serious national security consequences that have not fully or been fully considered. And currently the ICANN has a contract with the Department of Commerce, and this is the article basically laying out how the government has turned over control of the internet to this company, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, and they're going to be in charge of the Internet Protocol for approving IP addresses and domain names. But it sums it up all here. It says, in a cyber war scenario, the U.S. government may not have control over a very strategic area of its military operations, cyber. Even if it's security, government, or military and government domains and IP addresses, the targets in cyber warfare are likely to be civilian, and the U.S. government requires private sector infrastructure to operate. Since the internet underpins our computer systems, electrical grids, communication systems, and other critical information infrastructure, our entire civilian society could be at risk. The internet may not function properly, or changes necessary to protect us may not be implemented or made in a timely fashion. It says, I want to be clear that I am not suggesting that ICANN is not to be trusted. I'm simply stating that the internet is critical to our military operations and civilian society, and certainly regarding its operations and changes to its addressing system is a vital national security interest that cannot be cavalierly given away. And again, in this article, it says, here we can read what would be the negative downside to actually turning over this control to this ICANN, right? It says, others, however, believe the transfer is not only a bad idea, it is mad. Currently, the U.S. government vets and approves every domain name and IP address on the internet. When the A server is replicated nightly, it is done following U.S. government oversight and authority to post the new IP addresses. Now think about if the U.S. was engaged in a cyber war, a situation surely to occur. Under this new arrangement, the U.S. may not know if all of the IP addresses for domain names are legitimate or if they have been manipulated or compromised in some fashion. Moreover, the government's and the private sector's ability to get new sites accessible on the internet would be dependent upon the actions of a nonprofit organization, which is increasingly multinational. It is possible that ICON may fall under the influence of powerful corporations or nation states who do not have U.S. national security interests at the forefront. I'm pretty sure this statement kind of sums it up. It is possible that ICANN may fall under the influence of powerful multinational corporations or nation states who do not have U.S. national security interests at the forefront. And of course, do you not think that our enemies are totally aware of this? First of all, this is a story that came out back in early February talking about how Russia has been planning to disconnect from the internet as a part of a planned test. You don't think they know what's going on just as well as anybody who can read the tea leaves at this point and see what's happening? So they're taking action, and that should basically give you cause for concern. After reading that, Q says, significant risk, cover, control, and it goes back to this ICANN article, which talks about the ICANN calling for the full DNSCC, which is the DNS security extension deployment, and to promote community collaboration to protect the internet. So this private organization is going to end up controlling everything and basically having more power than the government when it comes to what goes on the internet. And Q says, why would Hussein transfer U.S. government control of the internet to a nonprofit California company? I wonder why. It says, you are the news now. I wonder why President Obama, Hussein, would transfer U.S. government control of the internet to a nonprofit California company. I wonder. I think we can put two and two together at this point. And of course, we ended up with this tweet Q gives us in the next post. And if you guys have ever been to President Trump's Twitter page, you'll see here that there's always these two guys at the top of his Twitter comments, this Ed Krasenstein and his brother Brian Krasenstein. These guys are the scummiest, slimiest individuals you ever met in your life. They're basically both two miniature Michael Avenattis, and that is really what they basically are. And here they are on video. Here's actually, I think this is Ed Krasenstein actually basically confessing that what they do, as it says here in this tweet Q points us to, it says the Krasenstein brothers are on video admitting they're spreading misinformation and being paid to divide Americans. It says evil people paying evil people to do their evil deeds. Watch this.
Or is that your job?
I have several businesses, but the Resistance is a really good group of people that's spread throughout the country, probably throughout the world. I mean, it's just kind of, it's just what I enjoy spending my time doing, and of course we get paid. Of course those higher ups pay us.
So you're paid for this? It's not just like something you do because for your love of country?
Yeah, I mean people pay us. they want us to help sow the division and to take over Trump's Twitter feed. When he makes a post, they want our tweets to be up there. They don't want other people to, like Trump supporters, to be seen in that case.
I hope you guys caught what was just said there. He says that he gets paid to go onto President Trump's Twitter and to make posts that create division and disallow patriots who support our president from getting to the top of the comment list. I mean, I really feel like I every day I feel like they're just slipping crazy pills in my drinks and I'm not noticing, because I feel like this is so crazy it can't be real. But of course, here we are. So yeah, Q says, nothing to see here. You are the news now, Q. And that's where it ends. And guys, look, this is insane, but we're covering this information every single day. And I want to make a point to say that there is actually somebody who a lot of people I know out there have different feelings about the 5G, 6G tweet that was made by President Trump, where he talked about us having 5G and all that stuff. I saw this interesting decode by Serial Brain 2. And in summary, after he put together all the gematria and all the different subtle, nuanced messages, this was the summary of that basic breakdown. It says, and this is decoding what President Trump said about 5G. It says, pursuing their 16-year plan to destroy America, our former treasonous political leaders, in collusion with our enemies, have knowingly imported altered specification steel in an effort to weaken our military. And talks about how the steel was used to alter the waves from the 5G. It says they were hoping to use this same model to implement a dangerous and weaponized version of 5G that would have caused tremendous harm to the American people and heavily jeopardized our freedom and peace and way of life. It says the equation I had to solve was either to take the risk of closing America, and I guess this would be President Trump speaking here, technically. It says the equation I had to solve was either to take the risk of closing America to this technology and let the world and our enemies beat us to it, or to find a way to implement it safely. Seeing how the Democrats behaved with urgent need to change our immigration laws, I realized that the regulatory approach would be a dead end. So this whole thing talks about how, according to Serial Brain 2, the wall is actually a code for the 5G, which was going to be weaponized, and that's basically what you should take away from there. And it says, I have therefore decided to put our best minds in the most advanced fields of biology and technology to work to develop a set of protections against all known weapons and armies from all dimensions. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Using my prerogatives, I have quietly financed this operation through the military spending bill and gave to this set of protections the generic name, the Wall. Thanks to this fantastic work led by our great military, our country today has all the protections to implement 5G or even the future 6G without harming our populations. You wanted 5G, have fun. Now, I'm not saying any of this is real or true. I'm just saying this was Serial Brain came out, did his whole gematria decode, and this is kind of the end result of that. So I want you guys to kick that can around down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about it. But that's pretty much going to wrap it up. A few more things. Stick around. We got a few more things you guys want to stick around for. First of all, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Make sure you hit the like button if you guys like this content and you want me to keep doing it. Watch these videos and share them on your social media because, look, the traffic on my channel has been severely dampened by these new Orwellian algorithm adjustments that have been made by YouTube to stop promoting anything that has to do with QAnon, because it's obviously real, and that's what they're terrified of, is getting this information out. So I need your help to share these if you can, and make sure you get the word out there. Leave your thoughts, theories, and insights also at the end of this video. That helps out big time as well. Let them know what you think down in the comments. And also come check me out here on Twitter at JustInformYou. You get cool stuff like this little put together poem and other stuff, all the videos and stuff, and funny videos. You can come get here on Twitter at JustInformYou, the official Twitter page for Just Informed Talk. And you can come find me on justinformednews.com, where you get links to all the Q stuff, links to news, new articles that are coming out all the time. Plus, you get here all the videos from the website. That is a cool thing to go check out, and I always encourage everyone to do it. The other two ways you can help are both financial. Come here. YouTube demonetization is real. Everything that they are doing to game the system against this content is real. So I depend almost primarily on you guys to come support me on Patreon. So everyone who comes here and supports the channel through Patreon, know that your contributions matter, and I'm very thankful. It's a crowdfunding website called Patreon. There'll be a link down in the description. You click this button to become a patron. It's a monthly donation. You set it and forget it, and you know that you're helping fight what's going on with YouTube and the demonetization and gaming the algorithms, and you're allowing this content to be created 24/7, 365 for you guys and for your benefit. So also, if you want to do a one-time donation, I understand. That's why I have this GoFundMe. Both these links will be in the description if you guys want to check it out. And that's something I really appreciate you guys going and checking on. So for the last segment we do, it's always God's grace is greater, because like I'm a kid at Christmas. When it comes to God, I save the best for last, and God is the best. That's why we talk about it at the end, and also it's because we talk about a lot of negative stuff here. So I always like to balance that with the incredible good word of our Lord and Savior and God in this incredible book that we have here as a way to understand our lives better. But for this one, we're going to go out of the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 9, verses 6 through 9, and it just talks about what our motivations should really be. It says, "Remember this, the person who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and the person who sows generously will also reap generously. Each person should do as he has decided in his heart, not out of regret or out of necessity, for God loves a cheerful giver. And God is able to make every grace overflow to you, so that in every way, always having everything you need, you may excel in every good work. As it is written, He has scattered, He has given to the poor, His righteousness endures forever." And that's what it's about, guys. Like, we have to be generous givers, generous sowers. And I don't mean that financially. I mean that like sowing the goodness in our hearts, the things that we know are good, the gifts from God that we're given, and not just the ones that are measurable here in materials, the ones that are measurable in these great gifts of grace, these great gifts of blessings, the gift of happiness, the gift of contentment, and even sometimes, yes, the gift of affliction, because it produces endurance, and that endurance will produce an impeccable character that will make us better for God. So I just put that to you guys to take all of the gifts that God has given you and put them forward into the world, because that is what will make a difference. Not anything else. It's taking these incredible blessings that we've been given and sowing them out into the world, and knowing that we will reap the rewards of that incredible sowing as long as we're generous and we put it out there. And that's where I'll leave it. I want to say thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button if you guys like what you just saw. And that's going to be it for me. I want to say thank you for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.